Hello and welcome to Pothi's The Big Pick. Our first film this week, Twilight Eclipse. Now tell me, what reaction do you expect from an over 35-year-old hard-boiled cynic to a teen romance full of turmoil? You already know the answer, right? To start with, patient indulgence because you feel a bit maternal towards the young protagonist, freshly in love with all that hot, repressed teenage passion. You recollect some faraway memory of feeling something like that yourself eons ago. So it's mild amusement initially, which soon turns into nervy impatience as the story drags on with its trite dialogues underlaid with a sense of this is going nowhere. Eclipse is adapted from the third novel in Stephenie Meyer's Twilight series, you know that. Bella Swan, Kristen Stewart, and the whiter-than-white chivalrous vampire Edward Cullen, played by Robert Pattinson, are still madly in love with each other. Bella trusts Edward so implicitly that she's had enough of waiting and now wants to go all the way with him, if you know what I mean. Of course, Edward won't. He's her vegan vampire with not just golden eyes but also a golden conscience and will not do anything like that before they become man and wife. So Bella must content herself with their long, swoony kisses and their hushed, husky, whispery conversations, which after a while, because of their trite, clunky content and those ardent, adolescent declarations, begin to get on your nerves. Okay, blame it on my age, go ahead. Anyway, in the meanwhile, in Seattle, Victoria Brees Howard, with her flaming hair, is creating an army of fresh, hungry, newborn vampires with the aim of killing Bella and Edward. These bloodthirsty, messy fellas are under the control of a new hunk in the series, Riley, played by Xavier Samuel. As if that threat is not enough, poor Edward has to deal with a bigger six-pack threat. Jacob Black, the hot-blooded human werewolf with his steady, disturbing gaze, who's had a crush on Bella since the sun first dawned on humanity, and his object of desire too has some feelings for him, it seems. So there are some serious square-offs between the two suitors. Lucky Bella, I'd say. Anyway, the story basically drags on with Bella being drawn to both boys, with Bella trying to break Edward's resolve, and finally with the vampires and the werewolves uniting to fight Victoria's newborns. Now, these fights are nicely shot and provide some relief after all that teenage pining and longing and confusion. Phew, the movie really tests your patience, it does. Directed by David Slade from a screenplay by Melissa Rosenberg, Twilight Eclipse has this over-earnest and sickeningly sweet tone. The teenage crowd in the theatre shrieked and swooned, putting all the shrieking and swooning in any Michael Jackson or Bruce Springsteen concert in those days to shame, if you know what I mean. The actors are all sweet. Kirsten Scott is delicate and vulnerable, and now with a thirsty, take me, I want to be yours air about her. Robert Pattinson is chilly and pasty-faced, but clearly turns Bella on, for she is inspired to huskily recite Robert Frost's Fire and Ice, which I thought was a very nice touch. I love that poem. Do you remember it? Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. It's a beautiful one. Anyway, I thought while Scott and Pattinson haven't really grown from the first two films in the series, this Lautner boy certainly has. He brings a more mature intensity to his role with his dagger-sharp eyebrows over those dark, piercing eyes. Now, while the landscape, the cinematography, the music and the battle sequences are wonderful, I can't take any more of the soap opera. I may not see the next part whenever that's released. Wild werewolves can't chase me towards it. Twilight Eclipse gets 1 star, that's it. Well, coming up, a classic, War and Peace. Welcome back to Pothi's The Big Pick. I recently saw Audrey Hepburn's Sabrina, and last week I saw Kubrick's Barry Lyndon. So this week I was in mind to see something epic and historical starring Audrey Hepburn, and voila, I chanced upon War and Peace. Oh, what a sumptuous film. A 1956 release of the screen adaptation of Leo Tolstoy's epic novel of the same name. Directed by King Vidor and starring Audrey Hepburn, Henry Fonda and Mel Ferrer, this 3.5-hour film is for history and literature buffs and patient and serious movie watchers. Slip in the DVD, turn on your TV and enter Russia and literally live there for a period of 12 years from 1805 to 1812, participating in the lives of 3 Russian aristocratic families during Napoleon's invasion of the country. The film opens in 1805 Moscow at the opulent home of the wealthy Rostovs. The pixie-like and high-spirited Natasha Rostov, played by Audrey Hepburn, and her brother are apples of the eyes of their good-natured and simple-minded parents. Natasha is drawn to their family friend, the affectionate Pierre Bezukhov, played by Henry Fonda, but he ends up marrying his mercenary and shallow cousin, played by Anita Ekberg. Of course, he is not happy with her. That is revealed pretty soon, so he starts spending more and more time with the Rostovs. His friend is Prince Andrei Bolkonsky, played by Mel Ferrer, a military officer who soon captures Natasha's heart thereafter. He has recently lost his wife in childbirth, and soon he too falls in love with Natasha. But when Andrei goes to Austria to fight the army of Napoleon Bonaparte, played wonderfully by Herbert Lom, when Andrei goes to the Battle of Austerlitz, Natasha is seduced by the rakish Anatole, played by Vittorio Gassman. Young thing that she is, she doesn't realize that she is being taken for a ride. Anyway, this leads to her and Andrei breaking up. Skip to 1812, Napoleon has invaded Russia. Natasha and her family flee the country. It is revealed that Natasha and Pierre still harbor feelings for each other. Meanwhile, Pierre sets out on a mission to assassinate Napoleon but is captured, and so on and so forth. The film is a stunning example of the personal, the political, the social, the cultural and the historical coming together into one seamless whole. The actors are each towering in their own right. Due to constraints of time, I will speak only about the very main protagonists. Audrey Hepburn is lovely and impish as ever with her 2D smile, her reed-like waist and her untouched beauty. Mel Ferrer is dashing, chivalrous, melancholic, romantic as the situation demands. Henry Fonda is the plodding Pierre with his scholarly air and gentle temperament. The supporting cast is good with Herbert Lom as Napoleon and Oscar Homolka as General Kutuzov. Of course, the sets, the costumes, the battle sequences, the cinematography are brilliant in this historical spectacle. I'm thinking what a daunting task it must have been for director King Vidor to adapt this staggeringly huge novel with its gazillion characters for the screen, but he pulls it off brilliantly. Sometimes the story gets heavy and ponderous, but you don't really switch off because the human drama is so absorbing, as are the battle sequences. Particularly fine among them all is Napoleon's retreat from Moscow. I was reading up on the film, and there are criticisms that the characters are not developed enough. Yes, you do get that sense, but honestly, what could the director do? If he had to allow that to happen, the film would have gone on for something like 20 hours or something. I must check if there's a mini series of this. That would be wonderful. But what did get on my nerves were the American and Scottish accents of the actors. Now that sort of killed the authenticity element. But despite all that, the film is a must-watch simply to revisit history, if not anything else. I would give it 4 stars. Last week's winner of Barry Lyndon is Mr. Shrikant. Congrats, sir. Hope the DVD has reached you. Now this week the question is, name another film starring Mel Ferrer. Let me repeat that. Name another film starring Mel Ferrer. The first one to write in will get a DVD of War and Peace. Whoa, I've done a lot of talking. I'm going to have to say goodbye right now. I'll see you next week, but do write in with the right answer to feedback@ndtv-hindu.com. I'll see you very soon. Take care and bye-bye.